In some marriages, women are sometimes forced to leave their careers and settle to take care of their families. This is because some men fear that career women will either neglect their responsibility as wives or take advantage of their authority. Mwema hitmaker Mercy Masika, who prides herself in totally blowing away minds of many music lovers with her songs, has had her own share of experience together with her husband David, and they share with us their journey in their 7 years of marriage. Mercy Masika began singing at a tender age of 7, and by the age of 11, she already had an album under her name. She credits all this to her mother, Agnes Masika, who back in the years was the face of Sing and Shine and Joy Bringers in KBC. It was involvement in these two shows that introduced Mercy and her siblings to music.
Shadows deepen, unending day where nights would never be. A city where no stormy clouds never gather.
A lot of who I am has really, been easy because of her. She's held my hand, and been there for me. And yeah, it was amazing, and it still is that she's still the one who advises me, rebukes me. Yeah. I started off when I was really young, and so even when I met my husband, I usually say I was not looking for a husband. I had decided to serve God, and I think if you take care of God's business, He takes care of your own business. And so I had no, need of being desperate or anything. I was busy being spent and being spent, spending and being spent for the gospel. And so God took care of my my business, music. So He found me doing music as ministry. And so I think just when I'd cleared campuses, when I was clearing campus, that's when He came, which was even better because that's when I was really starting out on my own. So my husband has been my manager, for a while, and the one who pushes me. Like we said, I'm the careful one. He's the, go.
And it was while she was taking care of God's business, as she puts it, that she met her husband, David Muguro, a businessman, in a wedding where they were both on assignment. David, who apparently by then was not acquainted with local gospel musicians, recalls watching her sing and desiring that one day Mercy would sing on the day that he ties the knot. Little did he know what fate had in store for him.
I wanted to ask her that when I do plan for my wedding, she can come and sing the same song. Mm. When I do, because at that time it wasn't forthcoming. It is well. It happened, and she never sang.
On the wedding, yeah. I was a really nice person. I'd give my number to people, because he told me he writes a diary called Dove's Diary. And so that was like October 2006 or I can't remember, 2007. He would send, scriptures, timely scriptures, timely. When you're making a decision, and then a scripture comes and you're thinking, ooh, this guy is he a prophet or something?
At that time, I think I was working with my brother and in Kahawa, where I would be distributing newspaper, Nation, Standard, and such. So before the papers would come, I would have to wake up very early because those guys would not wait for you. When they get there and you're not there, they just go and you have no business for that day. So I took that time to study the word, read books, and that time I then now started seeing the need of reaching out. I would talk to people in the word. A lot of my friends, even to this day, I think I met them during that period. I would write a mail and send to the people that I have met. So particularly personal people that I have met myself, not in a church. So among them was Mercy. The mails, I don't think she was reading the mails. But now I also realized there were people who were not able to access mail. At that time, I think it was about cyber sana. We didn't have this kind of phones that we have now. So I also started now writing SMSs. I remember I would write about 30 SMS per day. Send differently, not to everyone, a particular person, and what would come to my mind is what I would send, a verse, a word, whatever. From what I'm reading, from now the And what I didn't know is what I was telling now, Mercy and the other people who were telling me was so personalized to what they were going through at that time. Of course, it wasn't my doing, and I thank God for that, because out of that, I got a good wife.
So, after exchanging of these timely messages, the two agreed to meet for a date. At this time, David did not know that Mercy was a celebrity, and he admits he only wanted to know her as a person, not as a celebrity.
When I started now finding who Masika was, to be very honest, I did not want any part of her. I think I didn't want that popular person being anywhere. I didn't have anything to want to show off to the people. I didn't have anything to tell people per se at that time. So I didn't want my wife being at the center of that at that particular time. And I started now seeking out what would happen. What would happen if this relationship would come. Even her songs were not about, forgive me for this, about how she got out of problems, of sin. Because the word of God is clear and it tells us, after we read the word, it's us to respond to it, not react. Not for me to show you the cracks in my life, because it doesn't help you or me. It only can discourage me. But her music was so much about, can you people hear God, not me. Simply said, she was being used, not her using what she had.
I think he was just not informed because we had talent, something that I think, has improved over time, over those like 10 years now. Gospel music and music in Kenya now, I think we've grown in that we're blessing people, we're making sense, quality is better and good. Yeah, I agree. At the time, there were few challenges and all, but we've improved. And so, God packaged me to be a musician, so he loved me, so he had to take me as much as he's saying popular. Yeah.
Mercy was sure that she desired to be David's wife, and after 1 year of getting to know each other, the two got married in 2008 in a colorful ceremony attended by family and friends.
I think I liked the honesty, the just being real. Yeah. And then you can tell a fake and a real, because I'd been with the fakes before, I dated before people who, were... yeah, so when he came, he was a real. Yeah. My parents kept telling me, you should get married if you meet someone within 1 year. You should be done. In 6 months, get done with it if you're sure. Yeah. Because, taking time is not good for Christians.
Luckily, when I met her dad, he did not even beat about it. She just went like, I'm a bishop, we are a Christian family, we are not selling our daughter. And so you come with the mindset of you're coming to buy off our daughter, we are not selling. So if you're coming to join our family as we join your family. So we didn't have much culture.
Culture is good, but when it makes you a slave, when it becomes a headache, and especially to the guys who are paying dowry, I don't think that's Christian. And so I think, how uncles who you've never seen all your life come and they are now coughing there talking about Tudataka 1 million. That's not right, it's not Christian. So if you're a Christian, and especially the men, I don't think culture should go beyond. Christ should rule. If you're Christians, be Christians. Don't just be religious, because we have a lot of religious people who are a headache before the wedding. And I know there's someone who's watching right now. You're planning how to to hammer that young man to give you money. It's not right. It's not godly. If you're godly, be godly. Don't be cultural, then godly. God comes first. The vision is to get married, have kids, and serve God. Simple. The best thing about marriage is when you are able to work together in purpose. I think a lot of marriages fail when you're doing totally different things. Okay, that's what I think. Because if you're in East and the other is in West, I think it's totally, you meet a lot of people in East and you meet a lot of people in West. I think it's wisdom also to work together. And if you're not able to work together, if you're engineer and doctor, find something that you can do together. For me, it was when my mom and her twin sang in the reception. They sang really well. That was like, oh my gosh. It was beautiful. My mom is a singer and also her twin. So they used to sing together in the 70s before they got married. So that was beautiful. I remember us dancing, I think the music for me was everything, and the worship. And we had fun. The vows, I was a bit numb. I was just, I take you, just, I think I was shaking. I was shaking. I was so, I don't know why people shake. And then how people cry. I used to say, I'll never cry. Watu wanalianga nini? Nini watu wanashinda hapa wanalia. Can't you contain yourself? I cried the whole, I don't know why people cry. I don't even know where the tears come from. Maybe it's a spiritual thing.
I still want to remember his mom coming. She had wanted for me to get married nicely for too long. So when she stood there in the chapel, that was thank you.
That's your mom now.
RK had been the lifetime producer for Mercy, and he really sacrificed. He came, I remember him counting the sodas, the flowers on the iron. And I think I looked at him where I was, and I went like, I have a brother. And him did not even know me. He had no reason to do anything in my wedding. But he had known Mercy through, was still the producer. He did too much for me that I usually have a debt. I go like, I want to do something. When I go to people that I know, I want to do something that I remember me with. Not because they deserve it or because I know them, but because he did that. And I thank God for that.
We went to Zanzibar. We had an awesome time at Zanzibar. Yeah, though I wish I went like a week later after the wedding, because I was so tired the following day, because the wedding was on Saturday. Then on Sunday morning, we were in the airport and end up throwing up. I don't know, I was so tired. I don't know, it was just, I wish I took more time, and just went a bit later.
Mercy was sick. Yeah, we went to Zanzibar. It was a very new experience. And then when we were walking around, I think that was the first time I got shrimps.
Prawns.
Prawns.
I have been looking for those prawns.
Yeah, but they just don't make them as good. It was beautiful, it was new. Also, the whole idea, when we realized where it's very different when you get to a place, being a minister. You only see the need.
Yeah.
We got to Zanzibar, and all we could see most of the time was how people needed God, how people needed Jesus. And as much as they had their own lives, the poverty was tangible. As in, you would see people around and you would go like, hey, this is just too much. We would think that Ukambani, our Ukambani was a bit bad. They are bad. At that particular time was actually a Ramadan month for them. So here we are, Christian, in a honeymoon in that month. So we are not supposed to wear particular clothes. We are not supposed to do some particular things in public, and we are not supposed to even show.
I actually had to buy those things.
Yeah, we had to buy those hijab.
They were fasting. They would humiliate us. Me.
They would wait for any opportunity to show you. You can't do that.
I think because it's a dominant,
But also,
there.
We didn't have much at the public. We decided to just keep off, go to the seas, to go see things we had not seen before. Yeah, new experience.
The first year of marriage can be so painful that divorce may seem like the only option out. For Mercy and David, their first year of marriage was grappled with many challenges, one of them being their understanding of the meaning of submission.
What really shocked me was, now we're married, I have to cook while he's watching TV. I'm like, hi, it's too much. The first shocks of now he wants to be a king, and it was very challenging for me. I had to go for mentorship class, because after mentorship class, I'll tell you, I'd packed 3 times. So after mentorship class, with Reverend Kathy Kiuna for women, that's when because I didn't understand submission. I was depressed about submission. I'm like, sub what? Funny enough, I was in church and I didn't quite follow what submission was. Yeah, we were being told what to do. So I was expecting what my mom, my mom just speaks up what she's thinking to my dad and they're still fine. So I would speak up how I think exactly with no editing. So it was challenging. I don't know what for him it was.
My kind of the woman I thought Mercy was. You see, we get
the woman I thought she was.
We get into marriage thinking this person is this particular way, and they think like this, they act like this, but you have no idea because that's according to you. They have their own version of who they are. I would make sure I mention the things about women. Of course, being very judgmental at this time, because at this time I had not really understood
the reality,
the depth of what you call now marriage. There's so much misinformation about love and marriage. So I had an idea of marriage, and I have one now. So it must actually work the way I think. And I've been told over and over, I am going to be the head. I am the head of this family. So, woman, this is how it's done. And it doesn't work like that. She had her own understanding. Now
from soap operas,
yes,
how you want to be loved and all. But then they influence you because you start watching them when you're really small and seeing how, the guy is there when she cries. I cry and he's not even moved. So those shocks, were there.
Like from where I come from, Mom would take enough time with my sister, telling them how to be good wives. And she was intentional about it. So I thought, because that's what happens to women when they are growing up, that must have happened to Mercy. And now she's here. So I am expecting to see what her mother really taught her every other day, according to me. But now different. Now, like today is when I realize different parents teach different things depending with now how they understand their children.
My mother taught me how to be independent. Don't be hardworking. Don't depend on men. You have to know what you want. Yeah. So then my mom was always working. Okay, she was in ministry. She had people working, at home. So it was different. It was different from his culture.
Marriage is not for what you can get. Marriage is always for what you can give. If you're married for what you can get, you're married for the wrong reason. You need to understand that marriage cannot be based on selfishness. That if you're sorting out matters, it has to go your way. That it has to be what you say. No, that is selfish. You need to be selfless in a marriage. And if you look at our Lord Jesus Christ, he was absolutely selfless. He gave his life without knowing whether humanity will accept him.
Submission doesn't make you less. The example that our pastor gave us, Pastor Kathy, was how Jesus submitted, until he came down on earth. That didn't make him less God. And in that he submitted it's greatness. We're so great as women in terms of, we are, and submission is bringing greatness under authority. And so that's the same thing that Jesus did. He brought his whole greatness, him being God, and submitted, under authority. That for order, because anything with 2 heads is a monster. I remember that one very well. A family with 2 heads is a monster. And I've also learned that I don't have to win every battle. There are things that he won't agree with, but worst comes to worst, I go to pray and it works my way. So there's no. I think also my faith has grown in terms of I see things work more with prayer, and believing God to work everything in my house. It may take time, but I've seen, God work through prayer. Yeah.
My mom would be topped nicely for just doing nothing. So I didn't really want her to be submitted. I wanted her to be kind of free. Because if I loved her, I wanted her to be that good person. But I also didn't understand all that is because now my understanding from what kind of setting I came from was a bit complicated. I didn't know there was supposed to be submission like that. I actually thought mom was very stupid to allow to be beaten over and over again. So when she came in, I didn't have a definition of how she would be. The only part that now became clear was this is a different person, and we are supposed to work in particular order, and it's not working. So we had a big issue because what I would do, rather than now continue arguing, what I was saying is, I still would get very angry that she does not see what I mean. But I did not want to get angrier because I had vowed to God that I would never raise a finger towards my wife. So I didn't want to get angrier. So I would stop and keep it off and actually assume it never happened, which I learned later was suicide. It was slow puncture. If I had continued with that, it would have erupted one way or another. So luckily, thank God for being in Christ, because when I'm struggling with this, she's also struggling with it. She saw the need to seek now advice again. And when she actually now helped me understand what it was. Because your understanding and understanding will never be at par. She's a different person, I'm a different person.
This conflict translated into a personality clash and disagreements, which later on made them resolve to stick it out and fight for their marriage.
What I wanted was to have full control, and I don't have it. I wanted to be in charge, but I'm not. She kind of taught me. I used to say, she's the only one who can ask me a question that I can't answer, because I would think I know something. Then she would confront me with something, and I would think, I think this is where I should either get off here or just cover this in a fight. No, like, my issue was I want her to be happy, but I'm not making this. I'm not succeeding in this. So what is your problem? Can't you see how hard I'm trying? But then, like, I had this thing about God works like this. So please, whatever you do, even if I'm wrong, support me. But now on this other side, she would go like, no. Do
you expect me not to have a mind?
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, I'm not a child. I'm not an object to be pushed around. I know what should be, and I am your helper. When I realized that God made her a help for me, meaning I actually needed her. I needed the help. I was not her help. The usual thing is I am here to help the woman. I am the it. So here you stubborn one. But the main thing was the foundation of when we were coming together was we are not getting into this for divorce. We are not going to this halfway. We are going to die, whether you like it or not. I'm going to die either with you or after you, or whatever happens, but I'm going to die in this marriage. So there was no exit clause anywhere.
It's better you kill me.
There's nowhere that I can run away from this.
Two grown-ups who are living together and none of them has a disagreement, I think they are abnormal. Either one is highly oppressed by the other. Because, if you have a good mind, a good head, you have your way of thinking, and this other person has their way of thinking. Of course, you'll have to disagree. So I believe disagreements are important and they're necessary because you're both thinking. If you're not, by the way, you're not normal. Your marriage is suffering. You need counseling.
In addition, these two lovebirds faced hard financial times during their first year of marriage. They were both not employed but fully immersed in music. And as David recalls, these frustrating times apparently demoralized his self-esteem, and he attributes his strong will for the failure.
No sooner had we got married than, things just went low for me in terms of my music and also his business. People have different challenges. So for us was financial. So we would do our projects and nothing was working, for a while. Of course, we would get money for food, money for but we're not quite having that breakthrough. Yeah. And so I think now when the kids came, it was a new challenge. They came a bit earlier than we expected. So, it becomes a bit more expensive to live life. And so our finances weren't quite shaping up at first. And that was really something for us because we had to, we were not in employment, we were not employed. That's what I'm saying. So we had to find our way around things, which is not easy at the start.
The best thing that I think I can attribute even our consistency, it was our pastors. Though they didn't know they were talking to us, and particularly me. Mom Kathy would always say something about a woman, and I would go like, I think I haven't done that. And I would try to do that with her. Now, I was still kind of proud to admit I'm lacking. So I will try to do that so that I look the better part between us, not to everybody else, but between us. And it helped.
I think the best thing about the financial, thing was, I say true humility is totally depending on God. I think the ugliest person on earth is a person who believes in themselves, in terms of self, I can do without the help of God. So I think right now God broke us. He broke us to the point whereby if anything good happens, we know it's not us. It's Him that's at work in us. And so, of course, we do our part, but we totally attribute all of the success and everything that good that happens to us to God.
Mercy got into marriage with the fear of getting pregnant instilled in her apparently by her auntie. So deep was this fear that she desired to have children 10 years after their marriage, something that her husband was against. However, as this powerfully gifted musician recalls, her pregnancy experiences were not as painful as the stories that she was told.
I didn't want to have kids because I was so scared. I was so traumatized. And so, so then again, I thought giving birth would change my life in terms of I'd never be able to do anything or anything. So when I got now pregnant, of course I was traumatized. I was very traumatized. So actually, I think I was so shocked that when I had to deliver my babies, they were not as tough as she said. I was expecting, it's even, I think a toothache is more painful. It's more painful than, the whole childbirth thing. Do you know, I thought very seriously. Someone would tell me they have 2 children. I'm like, what? You have 2 children? Yeah. Hey, because I'm imagining how, and I think how you talk about childbirth when kids are small, because I'm not even my daughter is kind of traumatized, but my auntie would give details. Of how, let me not say. So it's easy. It's not, things are not as bad as, yeah. I actually wanted to wait. I was actually thinking 10 years. So now I'm thinking, hey, 10 years I'd be how old? But of course, it happened, and I hadn't planned, but it happened, but I was grateful.
The couple are blessed with 2 children, 5-year-old daughter Renice Muguro and son Tavita Muguro 4. Parenthood has also brought its own conflict as they both come from different backgrounds, and this has greatly influenced their parenting skills.
We have 2 amazing kids, boy and girl, and they're a blessing to us. And I am the liberal one. Okay, he's always a strict one. We thank God. At first, I thought I'd be the strict one because I was a bit more, but I realized I'm so liberal. Him is strict about everything. I'm like, leave the children alone, But I think that's the way I was brought up, in a strict kind of like family. My dad was a teacher. My dad was strict, yeah. My mom was, I think, like me. She beat me only once. My dad, even when I was in high school, 4th form, was still beating me up. So I think he's that way. Me, I'm like, why not eat ice cream? If you're hungry, you will eat. Why force you? Him is like, kani chini mkule nitawachapa. I'm like, don't force them. Akisikia njaa, atakula. So I think I'm liberal, very liberal. Yeah, I don't like very many rules. But he's the direct opposite. which is good. I think it brings the balance.
I think what I learned from my parent is if you let things go, you pay for it. And so I don't let most of them, like, not like too authoritarian. I don't want to leave no space for breathing. But there are no discipline issues. There is no shortcut. You've got to be disciplined, and you like it or not, this has to be done. That means when we are eating, you have to eat. You can speak. I don't tell them not to speak. You can speak. You can do many things, but you have to eat. Because even with our small children, I've learned if they are weak and you let them be because they were okay, you're going to pay the bills. You're going to pay the bills in the hospital, trying to do something you should have done in the dining table.
On April 23rd, the year of 2015, Mercy and her husband were involved in a road accident on their way to Thika. As they nostalgically recall, this incident not only drew them closer to God, but also made them draw closer to each other.
The accident was, of course, we were together. That's the best part. He was driving, I was asleep. And I think you wake up to every day is a blessing. You realize the fight is real, the spiritual fight for us, but we are more than conquerors. Looking at the car and looking at us was our God is true.
Well, there was a commitment to go to Thika. So we took some time. They had not confirmed until about 10, I think, 10 p.m. So the kids had slept and we went on Kedurai. Just you know how you're okay listening to the music and you're like, boom. You want to think it's someone else, not you. But then the car is not going where you're going. It's just spinning around. I think that she was sleeping on the co-driver's seat, so I just stretched my hand, held her hand. So in case she's not belted, I'd be able to hold her in. But when we spun, it stopped. Just calling Jesus. I remember even when she woke up, she was only calling Jesus because I think it was a crazy moment. We didn't go very far from where we were hit. Luckily, the car locked. The gears and the wheels were stuck. When we stopped, the first thing I thought, because like in 3 minutes, so many guys were around us. The first thing I thought was she should not get through the car from Mercy's side. So the first thing I thought was lock that door, hold it if it's not lockable. So at least then they were coming because we were against the wall of the road, and her door was now on the open side. So held back and told those guys, no, get off, we are okay. We are not hurt, we are okay, just get off. So for them, they expected us to either have been thrown or unconscious, but then we were okay. Some lady recognized who she was, so they also stood behind the car telling her, ni gari ya Masika, so keep off. And we thank God we went through that.
I woke up to the car going round, and it was a shock. So him with his hand over there, kind of felt good. But then the first thought that goes is, okay, now are we going to die together? Because things are just happening. You're thinking, okay, immediately your head goes like, so now we call Jesus. The whole being a team thing is what I came out, real strong. Because my leg was hurting at the time, so I couldn't quite move. And then I think the shock was so much on me, the adrenaline. But he was okay because he seemed okay because he knew what was happening. Yeah, and it felt he takes care of me. Because when they came, those those men, Githurai, there were so many idlers, and they were all coming to steal, and yeah, he was there.
The two works together in music, and what many people do not know is that David doubles up as Mercy's manager and a businessman. This soft-spoken man talks about his decision to support his wife and why other men should join him in doing so.
The fear that they'll do the wrong thing is right. First of all, there are so many people who just want to take advantage of, particularly authority. If it's your wife and they are gifted or lifted higher than you, it's easy for you to think they won't see. And trust you me, they have examples of where people have misused that authority. So I think the best thing I can say is, if you're in Christ, you're safe. Your wife should not be the only one who is helping you to get bigger and out there. For me, what I have seen is it helps me to make Mercy better. I'm safer. I'm safer with her being confident, her looking good, her doing way better than me, because at the end of the day, whatever she's doing is for me. Yeah, it's for lack of a better illustration, it's like getting the best part of a team work for you, and you know they are going to work for you. And all, like, if you make everything right, you're almost certain you have success. But it's your work to make sure she stands there and deliver what she's supposed to deliver. I would think that Dad was making a mistake in not lifting Mom. Mom left her job to be a housewife. So I would think she was more gifted than Dad. When Dad got all the success he could get from Mom's support, all he could do was drink it off. Mom did the other work of raising us, teaching us, training us, showing us who we could be. So according to me, if Dad had invested in Mom, maybe things would have been a bit more different. Because she was at least more focused on the family. She was focused on the things about us. She was more direct about the approaches we were taking. She was closer to us. She knew what we wanted and what. And I think for both the parent and the husband, being a parent to your wife and to your children, you have to be that person who is in touch with them, who is directing their movement, their direction in life, their destinies, so to say. At the end of the day, that person is bringing whatever they are bringing to you. If they do have a rebellious heart, it's okay. Give them the space. They will learn the mistake, because what is good for them, you are giving them. But if you continue fighting, this is what is good for you, this is what is good for us, it won't happen. And we have also seen people who have really misused their wives, who take everything the wives get and they misuse it. But I don't think it's for long. If your resolve is for marriage to work, I believe it will. Despite the pains of you growing through the challenges, it will. And when it does, you will reap the benefits. I don't see a loss, even if I take too long. I don't see the loss in investing in my wife or helping her be better. If I don't, yeah, the lie of the enemy will be someone else can. And I know for sure it's a lie. So why should I expose her to the lie when I can? I would rather cover her for the lie. And if she gets lied to, she will know the truth, because I have given her the truth.
I think the best part is that we work together. And so it's made us closer, being able to work together. He sees things that I can't see, on this side. Very, very many things, from how I dress. Before I used to dress very funnily. And then, at least now when you have someone to ask, how do I look? And they can tell you, there are many things. For us, our manual, our guide has always been the Word of God. And so even when I don't feel like obeying the Word of God, I still do, There are times you don't feel like submitting. There are times you don't feel like doing a lot of things or not doing a lot of things. There are times you just want to speak your mind and not edit. There are times you'll hear, a voice, the Holy Spirit tell you, tame your tongue. No matter how educated you are, you still have to submit. And of course, submission doesn't mean that, you'll be oppressed and all, but submission means, that you are under authority. And so, our ruler is God. And our guide is God, and that way I think that's how we've been able to stay. And I usually tell, please don't get married to a guy who doesn't fear God, because the mayori in marriage, the hot moto love, the one that you have feelings ends inaichaga, inaisha, and then now you're left with love, the decision to love, because love is not about emotions. It's not about how I feel. At times you'll wake up and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't like him. But but you have to love him anyway. You have to love her, yeah. And so it's love the decision. Yes, feelings are there, emotions are there. Sometimes they're not there, but you have to make that decision that you're going to honor your husband, that you're going to love your wife. And so if you don't have the word of God to guide you, you will follow every feeling, every feeling that comes with the excitement, of seeing, that's what a lot of people do. They're unfaithful because they're following feelings, and the worst person in the world is the one who's led by feelings, because you never achieve anything. A double-minded person is unstable in all his ways.
Feelings go. Marriages are not about feelings. I think any other thing apart from your decision to love this person can change. People will come with different opinions and decisions and choices for you, and it's you to stick to what you choose. Because at the end of the day, none of us is perfect. We are all work in progress. Nobody is actually there to say, I don't need any more, or I'm okay. It's everyday work. Your decision, your formation, your approvals, your confirmations, your conversions over and over again. It's you to make the decision that work for you fully. I would urge anybody getting to marriage. It's not an easy decision to be changed. Actually, it says that even if you divorce and you marry someone, you still in adultery. So it would be better to stick with this person. And there isn't going to be a better person than this particular one that you have. That's the best you chose, that's the best you have, and whatever needs to be done, you can do that and stand on it. If anything, work together. Find something that you work together. If you can, like us, we thank God, we can work together in whatever you're doing, the best for you. If you can't, find somewhere that with everything that is in you, you want it to work. Find something and
hata kama ni biashara.
Yeah, whatever it is. If particularly for musicians, where I am now, I wish wives could work with their husbands could work with their wives. It's much easier. It's much easier when you understand all the concepts, all the dynamics of the same thing, and it's easier to build each other. But if not, God has gifted us very differently. Find that sole purpose of you coming together and work it with everything that there is.